And from future Activision shooter franchise to reigning champ Activision shooter franchise, I'm Chris Waters here with Call of Duty Ghosts and executive producer Mark Rubin. Mark, welcome to the stage.
Hey, thank you very much.
We are super glad to have you here, even though you didn't bring a dog with you. But we are going to talk about some Call of Duty Ghosts single player. Let's get this out of the way right away.
Yes.
You guys know how PR campaigns work? Not talking about multiplayer yet.
I know, it's sad.
Okay. Hey, you know, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. People love multiplayer. They want to talk about it, but single player today, we got some levels to show off, including aforementioned dog level and some under the sea action.
The sea action, yes.
But you know, you guys you've announced Ghosts. You've shown it off a little bit. Now E3's in full swing. How's it going for the Ghosts?
So far, so good. You know, E3 is chaos in a big box.
Yes, it is.
But it's a lot of fun. You know, and I've worked it now enough times where it's like you come to E3 and you're like, oh, it's so hard. There's so much work. And
my goodness. Yeah.
And then actually a few years ago, I kind of realized I didn't used to even be able to come to these events.
Yep.
So now I'm here and I get to be here and be a part of it. And I realized this is awesome.
It's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Call of Duty Ghosts. We're talking single player campaign, which has to start with the question: how did America get so messed up?
We've only kind of teased some details there, and basically what we've done is we've crafted this idea that there's a mass event, and that mass event, although maybe not specifically important but what happens obviously is the big deal. So we've got this idea of a devastated U.S., a devastated America, and we're not the superpower anymore. So there's this sort of underdog struggle that we've not seen. You know, normally Modern Warfare, you're the big army, you got all the toys, all the resources. You can come in and do whatever you want in a sense. But in this particular game, we're taking definitely sort of a turning on its head. And the big part of it too, actually, is, and you'll see on the next level we show, you as a player. And the main person you're with, which is your brother, you grew up during that event. So, and during the after that event. So, in the beginning of the game, you're going to experience this mass event as sort of kids or as younger adults, and then we've kind of jumped forward 10 years
to when you guys are scuba diving and infiltrating behind enemy lines.
Exactly.
Trying to take someone out and avoid angelfish, which are
very smart angelfish.
Using their fish AI to dodge out of your way.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So you gotta love the internet.
There they go. All the fish and their AI.
When we were doing that video, that BTS video, where that comes from.
Yep.
Basically the producer of the video had seen a bunch of stuff in the game, because we took him around the studio and we took him to a bunch of the different desk sides and stuff.
Sure.
And one of the ones he saw was there was a guy working on some fish stuff, and it was more actually he was working at the time. He was working on the flocking ability of it.
It was actually just his screensaver.
It was a screensaver. So he. During the cut, he was like, you got to talk about the AI fish. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's because I saw the thing with the AI fish. And he goes, well, okay, but it's not really a big deal. It's not like new or anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, talk about it. It was amazing to see, and he's all excited about it. I'm like, all right. So I did a take with it. And then when we saw the take afterwards, it was so funny that I was like, you have to put that in.
We're going with fish AI.
We're going with fish AI. And thank you, Internet, for who you are, for being successful and picking that up and making awesome videos about it. That was so awesome. I was so happy with that. So my favorite, of course, being the Nintendo 64 reference for Mario, because they had that back in Nintendo 64 time where you could avoid the fish would avoid you.
Yep.
That's exactly what I wanted out of it. So well done.
Mission accomplished.
Well done, Internet. Thank you.
Excellent. So now we've just sort of seen like some, basically like glamour shots of under the sea, and then a little bit of combat, but now things are getting a little dicier.
Well, actually, now it looks like we've switched to the other level.
Oh, okay.
So, yes.
I thought you had planned some stunt with that whole static thing. That was cool.
No, that wasn't me.
No,
wasn't me.
That was nicely planned, though.
Yeah,
all right, so we're in the other level, and this is a level where you are spying on some dudes in funny suits.
Funny suits are always, sign of pure evil.
Yeah, and also, well, in this case, these dudes
like clowns.
I mean, they look like they're the Ghostbusters, only less fun. Oh God, this is dog mode.
This is dog mode.
Oh no, took him down.
That dog is amazing, by the way.
That
we brought
was
him by the
cool.
studio.
Yeah?
And
Well,
absolutely
you guys did a whole
exciting.
motion capture session with the dog,
Well,
yeah?
Yeah. So we did a whole bunch of motion capture. We actually used several dogs for that. You know, when we kind of really started this thing, we had this idea during the brainstorming sessions of like, okay, you know, what we do is we put cards up on a wall, and we just literally have corkboards all over the studio, and everybody in the studio can grab a card and put an idea up. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be any crazy idea you want, and we'll put it up on the wall. So one of the ones that stuck early was, okay, let's get a dog in the squad. That'd be really cool. You know, how would it work?
Yeah.
And so, like, what we usually do is we end up going to the guys who do this for real and asking them, hey, how does this work? What happens here? How does a dog, you know, work in a squad? Is he just out sniffing for bombs? You know, and that's kind of what we assumed, is they'd be out there sniffing for IEDs or something. And he was like, he explained how the dog is used, and it's
pretty fascinating, right?
It's amazingly fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, and to a level that on two levels that I was just absolutely floored with. One being the emotional level, and one being the tech level. So from an emotional level, the dog's with the squad all the time. You know, he's in the barracks, stays there with them. He goes with them wherever they go. I mean, literally, he was showing us pictures of them halo jumping out of a plane. The dog's strapped to the guy's chest.
Oh, wow.
And he's got an air mask on his face so he can breathe at whatever
high
altitude. Yeah.
No dog was ever meant to survive at this altitude.
It's amazing. We were floored by it. And, you know, one of the things the guy said once was, you know, there's a lot of guys in the squad who really love this dog. He's sort of that emotional inspiration for some of them. You know, when things are out kind of rough, the dog's kind of emotionally stable for you. You know, and so. One guy mentioned, you know, he said something like, "I would take a bullet for this dog." Wow. That's an amazing emotional experience for one of your squad members.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and to have them so integrally, part of that squad. They're also, like, I think the range of commands that a dog can take in terms of like patrolling and alert and, you know, reconnaissance is just.
Well, what we're going to see here is you just saw it flip up.
Yeah.
So that the dog's wearing this
Dog
vest.
cam?
Yeah, it's a camera on a periscope, and it flips up. And now the SEAL's got the screen that he can use to watch it. The dog's also wearing an earpiece.
Yep.
So the SEAL handler can actually talk to the dog and tell him what to do.
And the dog, so, you know, it's the player is controlling at this point.
At this point,
presumably.
the player's controlling it. So another part of it actually too is if they want to be really stealthy, there's a vibrating devices on either side of his neck, the dog's neck.
Yeah.
And so he can actually push a button like a joystick controller and tell the dog to go left, right, left, tack, whatever.
So it's, you know, this isn't just Call of Duty, you play as a dog because dogs are cool. It's because this is real tactical soldier stuff that they do.
We didn't have this in there originally, this idea.
Yeah.
This came from the tech that we saw.
So this is the dog is being pretty silent at this point, doing some obviously
to the
recon.
dog it's a game, but his game right now, the thing that he's thinking, the dog's thinking is, okay, I have to do that thing that they taught me, and then I have to go chew someone's neck out.
Yeah, this guy does not want to tangle with the dog. He was not prepared for dog.
When we were mocapping this, we had the main guy who was getting bit all the time. The guy who basically mocaps all these attacks.
All those dudes getting mauled.
All the dudes that get mauled. He's been doing it for like 19 years. And the guy, because we were mocapping it, because we needed to mocap him as well, we actually had him in what's called a light fight composition suit.
Okay.
So it's a very lightweight suit.
Whoa!
Yeah,
that dog broke the door down.
He's kind of beast.
And brought the whole enemy squad with him. Yowza.
But so he basically is wearing this really lightweight suit, and he's getting chomped on. And afterwards, like at the end of the day, we're looking at his arms, and they're just covered in bruises.
Yeah, like so the suit prevents puncturing the skin,
but not the
that
pressure.
bite pressure, which is pretty formidable.
But so the dog was having a blast. And afterwards, they're like all petty and loving each other.
Really, it's not it's not like there is no petting the dog.
No.
There's pet time, and there's maul time. A clear delineation between the two is only sensible.
Yeah. So, I think the dog, obviously adds a really cool new game mechanic. It adds also a cool story mechanic. it adds that sort of emotional part of it, and that sort of tying you into something real too. Because remember, what we saw actually on that level is you and your brother and your dog are in your neighborhood, in your old neighborhood that it's been destroyed by this mass event. And so you see your old house in that video.
Man, Mark, talking about emotional connection to the dog, talking about a dude taking a bullet for the dog.
Emotional connection to your fish.
Are you guys going to kill this dog? Come on.
I am not spoiling that for you.
Of course you're not spoiling it.
Not spoiling that.
Oh, man. I would go to the Twitch chat for questions, but it's pretty much 80% dog
Multiplayer.
pictures at this point in time. Not even the multiplayer stuff. They got them. Yeah.
The dog was awesome. Actually, there were, I do have to say, there were multiple dogs. We had multiple dogs. So the one
Multiple
you see,
dogs for the capture session or multiple dogs in the game?
No, for the capture session.
Okay.
That helped out.
Okay.
So
yeah.
giving props to those guys.
So when the credits roll and you see Sparky, Rover, Tex.
It was actually, I think, Turbo, Ruger, Rico.
Nice. Turbo, Ruger, and Rico.
Yeah.
First person to lock down that gamer tag wins. All right. Well, that's Call of Duty Ghosts. You're showing off the single player here, and we talked about the underdog setting, and we talked about how, clearly you still have some kind of tactical strength. Clearly you're able to deploy to some degree. You're able to assess threats to some degree. But, this isn't a game about reclaiming military superiority. Is it about reclaiming security, or beating back an encroaching foe, or what's the goal?
It's a little. We actually shift mid-story. So you start off in that sort of resistance feel. You're sort of fighting back against someone in your turf, and then the story moves forward, and we're sort of we get to a point where we're actually taking it to the enemy. But
removing that threat,
hopefully,
or minimizing, handicapping, yeah.
Maybe just revenge. Eat at their nice restaurants. They've got all the cool stuff now. They've got all the cool toys. So no, I can't spoil too much, obviously.
I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you. That's considerate.
But you do move forward, and the key thing on the resources isn't that you don't have anything. It's that what you have is limited, and what you have is finite. You don't just have that big, unlimited resources that you expect from previous Call of Duty.
Speaking of finite, our time here with Call of Duty Ghosts is coming to an end now. So let's get the rundown. Platforms, release date.
Right now, we're only have announced current gen and PC as being 11/5.
Okay.
November 5th.
And so current gen, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii U. Is it on there, or is that in the next gen bin?
Probably in the next gen bin, but we're not actually talking about Wii U yet.
Okie doke.
Because we want to keep it mysterious.
You mysterious dudes.
It's PR, guys. That's
all
not
right,
my
so
fault.
that release is...
That's November 5th.
Yep.
And then next gen release will be when next gen consoles come out.
Next gen announcement to come. Oh, so you guys are targeting launch day for next gen consoles.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And any news on when these rabid internet denizens can get more on multiplayer?
Multiplayer. We should be talking a lot about multiplayer, solely focused on multiplayer, in the next maybe 2 months, month and a half.
Great.
So sometime this summer.
Mark, thank you so much. Call of Duty Ghosts.
Thank you.
Have a good show.
Thanks.
Next up, it's Mario Kart 8 with Homer Rabara.